Ladies, you want to be in a happy relationship? There's only 4 things you need to do. 1, find a man who'll make you laugh. 2, find a man who's cultured and will explore this world with you. 3, find a guy who's intellectual and ambitious and will support your ambitions. 4, of course, find a guy who's honest, trustworthy, and respectful. But most importantly, more important than any of that, ladies, is that you make sure that these 4 guys don't know each other.
Scrimmage, run, bing, bang.
Yeah, and it's really not that deep.
Apparently last night when I talked about how my roster had expired, I think they heard me because tonight I had 2 inquiries come through. The thing about my roster is that they're actually all very cool guys. Like, I would genuinely hang out with all of them just to like go to the park and do random shit like that. But you know, that's not why they're on the roster. The problem with the men on the roster is that these men aren't the husband material I'm looking for. And they're not looking to wife me up either. If you're on my roster, it's because I think you're cute, funny, cool, but you're probably giving a little bit of fuckboy vibes, but like I accept that part of you. So I would be down to call them up and be like, hey, wanna go for a walk? Hey, wanna go to the park? But you know, they call me and text me asking to cuddle, okay? And that's where the disconnect. I'm just like, can't we just be friends? I really don't need the benefits. I'd rather just be friends because like you're cool. But you know, I feel like they only want the benefits, resulting in just dead ends.
If you are a woman and you are on any dating app, please listen up. Have you ever been on a date, brought something up, and realized that you just brought up a fact that is about a completely different person than the person you're on a date with? Because that happened to me. I was on a date and I said, oh, you're a tequila guy, right? And he just looks at me and goes, no. And I realized, oh my God, like this was a completely different person that I was thinking of, and it made the whole rest of the date super, super awkward. It was in that moment I realized I need a way to keep track of all of these people who I'm going out with. Enter the roster. So I also have a name and picture category, but I'm hiding those because obviously. But here I have age, height, how we started talking, had first date, when, last communication, current status, college, athlete in college, surfs, hometown, career, want to see him again, how many dates total, red flags, good things, sign. I did this for every single person who I went on a date with. There were a total of 61. This for me was a total game changer. Not only did it empower me because I felt like I really had control, it really let me break it down who I was seeing when I was seeing them and you know what we really would be talking about over the dates. You might think it's excessive, and maybe it is, but now I'm dating my absolute dream partner, and I owe it all to the roster, so best of luck.
As you see, even the fished-faced chick had a roster of men entertaining her. So why put in the effort when you're likely to be your lunch on Tuesday or drinks on Thursday? Let's look at an article that some LA Thought wrote to justify this type of behavior. The title of the article is, I dated 5 men at once and here's what I learned about modern romance. This on a feminist website called Thought Catalog. Thought as in think, when it should be spelled T-H-O-T, because there's not a lot of logical thinking on this rag news site. When I was in my early 20s, I did something I had never done before. Date more than one guy at a time. She's either lying or maybe it was the first time she tried living the thought lifestyle. Today, modern women do this all the time and wonder why chivalry is dead. But before we go any deeper into the video, let me share the comment of the day. Shout out to Posix who said, it's not that women outperform men in education and work when the brakes are taken off. It's that education is tailored for women and the brakes have been put on men with diversity hiring, societal messaging against men being men, and the feminist message that has consumed the zeitgeist. It's really not becoming fair for men out there, so that's why us men have to build our own empires to keep the society alive. So don't forget to reach out to us by email to claim your $5. As always, guys, I'll pick one comment from each video. It may be the funniest, the most liked, or one that moved me, so don't forget to leave a comment and you may be our next winner. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons too, as it helps us out a lot. Now, back to the video.
Embrace your masculinity.
It all started when I discovered that a film director I had been dating multiple women while I was only dating him. She blames a man for her actions. Not any man, but a high-value man. Someone who's distinguished themselves in their career field. In other words, he has earned it. Also, it's disingenuous to pretend that all men have the same advantages or opportunities as this high-value male. They don't. Most never get more than 3 different partners in their lifetime. He claimed it was due to insecurity, said that he felt I was out of his league, and told me that he assumed he wouldn't have gone far with me without having some backup options. Sounds like this director is average looking and wouldn't have these dating opportunities if he wasn't successful. He had the audacity to call me his favorite and disclose that while he had romanced me with lavish dinner and jazz dates, he took his other options on low-effort dates like free museums. From then on, I realized no one was going to protect me or my feelings in the dating world, and that exclusivity should never be assumed. So now she wants us to believe that she fell for this director only to have her heart broken when she found out that she wasn't the only one. That's BS. If she really cared about him, she would have tried to win him over, to be the one for his attention. Modern women need to know that the man has options, otherwise they'll not respect him nor give him the time of day. It's catch-22. So I decided to conduct my own experiments in dating multiple guys at once, without sleeping with them unless a man and I became exclusive and he was the only one I ended up dating. Would this experiment happen if she got no benefits from dating multiple men? She claims she's not giving them any benefit for dating her. That's why men are doing the least amount as possible when dating today's women in the West, or just going MGTOW altogether because they don't want to pay full price for a rental. Unlike that film director who did sleep with the women he dated even before they were exclusive, I wanted to date with more integrity and transparency, but I also wanted to explore my options and know what it was like. The director earned that right. Also, there are more hot and beautiful women wanting to be movie stars by the thousands than successful directors. It's a pay-to-play casting couch type situation in LA, and it's a two-way street. The director knows that the girl he's dating can leave him at the drop of a hat if she caught the attention of someone more famous, richer, handsome, taller, and so on. LA, just like Miami, which also had a concentration of beautiful women and successful men, both have a super toxic dating scene. Here's what these experiences taught me. 1. Dating like a man was at first admittedly a high. It taught me how much more fun men were having and were allowed to have without judgment in our society. Only the top 10% of men are having fun. This is also why many men have gone MGTOW, because they're invisible to these women who conflate the top men for all the men, and they'll use the top men as an excuse to mistreat the bottom 90%. I remember being at work and texting several of these guys at once within the same hour. It was addictive. There was never any shortage of witty banter, flirty interactions, or fun dates during those months. Men give up their time way too easily. That time could have gone to doing something more productive and lead to a better ROI. The time they'll never get back was wasted forever. Time is more valuable than money. You can always get more money, but not your time back. I was on a perpetual roller coaster of highs and lows, not knowing what would happen next. It was unpredictable, and it was a much needed break from my routine life of work and school. I would go on multiple dates a week, to sexy speakeasies, cool bars, clubs, and restaurants. I danced, I drank, I laughed, and I enjoyed myself. Every night was an adventure, and each first kiss or hookup was electrifying. Didn't she just claim that just because she dated these men, she doesn't mean she had sex with them? Now she's kissing them and hooking up with them. She can't even keep her lies straight within one full article. As Kevin Samuel said, you can't make this shit up. I'll admit it, it was great. That summer, I got to try out each type of man that I enjoyed, whether it was the intellectual who playfully sparred with me, the bad boy who challenged me, the successful CEO who taught me important tips about starting my own business, the delicious bodybuilder who was fun to cuddle with in bed, the software engineer who took me to comedy shows, or the interesting hybrid of all four. The bodybuilder got the action at the very least. Take note, men, if you work on your body and build muscle, no matter how tall you are, women are going to want you sexually. You too can be like this bodybuilder and skip the bullshit. I felt on top of the world. I had my fun without stepping over the line to have actual sex. Having multiple dates with each person allowed me to get to know their personality without fast-forwarding the physical process. Did she read what she just wrote previously? She said she cuddled with a bodybuilder in bed. Those men are full of testosterone, like a bull. She sure got to know the nerds personally during the expensive dates, but the Chads and Tyrones got to know what she looked like naked. Then it occurred to me that most men probably do sleep with the multiple women they see, and they don't have a problem with it. Isn't that how many men in our society have been dating all along? While a woman is pining away for a relationship status or a text back, there are plenty of men who date like this without qualms or obligations. That's because men are built to spread their seed. Otherwise, the human race wouldn't have advanced. And now she's gonna justify her sleeping with these men as if we didn't know she was already doing that previously. God, modern women are so stupid. Dating like a man placed me back in control of doing the choosing rather than waiting to be chosen. Having sex with many men isn't equivalent to choosing who to marry from a large dating pool. She is conflating her true value, which is relationship value, to her sexual value. They're not the same, except to simps. I understand why society has such a resistant attitude towards women dating multiple men. It's because it's afraid of the power it gives us. If women dated like men did, it would place them back in the driver's seat. They would know which man was treating them well and which man wasn't in a heartbeat, just by comparison. And if they knew they had options, they would be able to drop the men who weren't treating them well with that much more confidence. How about just find one man to treat her well? Or maybe if women committed to that one man that she qualified for, he'd treat her well, instead of committing to the top percentile of men who she's not qualified for. And that's why, as a man in today's world, you should go Dutch on every date. All the guys she dated at once seem to have treated her well in one aspect or another. She's just using the mythical abuse to justify her sleeping around. Yet, as women, we are taught to wait. Wait for the phone call, wait for the text back, wait for a guy to make the first move or to call us his girlfriend. We are always perpetually waiting, while they're out living. In my opinion, every woman should try dating like a man at least once in their lives to get a taste of the freedom and excitement that have always been accessible to men. If a woman actually put herself out there and let the man she truly respects know she was interested in him, maybe she wouldn't have to wait. Maybe if she baked him a cake or put in an effort to win him over that doesn't include hopping into bed with him, she'll get his attention, and he'll take her more seriously. Every woman should know what it's like to stop waiting, especially women like myself who've always restricted themselves to a very rigid view of monogamy even before becoming exclusive. And that's why the dating scene is ruined, so when women complain they're not courted anymore, just send them this article. Because you give women any benefit or power and they'll abuse it. 2. Dating like a man while you're a woman leaves you vulnerable to scrutiny because of the unfair double standards involved. Since women are stereotyped as those who want the ultimate relationship, even the most emotionally unavailable of these men seem to be disturbed by the fact that I was exploring my options. I was slut-shamed in countless ways and judged for doing something men had been doing for most of their lives. Can you imagine my disbelief when I discovered that even the men who professed they didn't want a serious relationship found it unnerving that I was dating other men, even though I wasn't even sleeping with them? Of course they're gonna be pissed. She wasted their time and money. While women who date the top men know they're living a playboy lifestyle, that's one of the reasons why they're attracted to these top men. Because they have abundance, they have options. They're not a guarantee or a shoe-in. It was a baffling double standard. Even though they had been the ones to say they weren't looking for anything serious, they seemed taken aback when I replied, "Neither am I," which eventually led to a few cringeworthy discussions about the number of guys I was seeing. I came to recognize that being a woman meant that I was cast as either the Madonna or the whore if I didn't fit into any of their cookie-cutter expectations of me. They probably wouldn't have a problem if this slut author paid for her half on the dates at the very least. She seems to purposefully negate or diminish the fact that she got free benefits from the dating under false pretenses, that is, fraud. It seemed that it didn't matter whether the men in question wanted something serious. They just wanted to have women waiting around for them regardless. They wanted to think of themselves as the only ones the women they were dating pursued, while they themselves were free to do whatever they wanted. A lot of the men she dated may not have had the options that the bodybuilder had, but modern women will conflate the top men to all men in bad faith to justify their behavior. It was interesting how I was taught to protect the egos of the men I was dating, while they were free to pursue whatever pleased them. It made me wonder, what would a world where women were taught to please themselves first look like? You see what she did there? She characterized lying to these men as protecting their egos. In that case, quote unquote, she shouldn't protect their egos and let them know upfront that she's dating other people. But she won't do that, because then she won't get the free benefits of dating. 3. Even though I was transparent and honest, the very act of seeing multiple people created as much chaos as it did excitement. Although I didn't need to share what I was doing, because I felt empathy for the men I was dating, I wanted to be honest with them if they did ask or if the conversation turned to the topic. Unfortunately, that honesty backfired. A few of them went on ego trips when they discovered I was going on dates with other people. One of them even claimed, "I'll bet I am more attractive and smarter than those guys," defensively. She was honest after the first few months of them investing in her. That's like telling someone after the fact and once the statute of limitations has ran out that you robbed them or did them wrong. It reminded me of how women are often pulled into competing for a man, and yet many men can't handle it when they're the ones perceived to be competing for a woman. Men compete for women all the time, but the women who they're competing for don't want them. Women are biologically wired to find the best man possible, to ensure she gets the best traits possible for her future offspring and ensure those future offspring have the best chances of survival because of the man's resources, influence, and capabilities. I was also losing touch with who I was and questioning what this meant about my own character. I had a few days where I double booked dates on the same day or ended up responding to a text from a guy while on a date with another man. What was an exciting experiment also became cause for internal conflict and self-doubt. Was I immoral? Heartless? A slut? Emotionally unavailable? Did it even matter? Why should I care? She's all of that, and it's most likely that she had sex or swapped spit with at least 2 different men on the same day. I knew I was just doing exactly what men had been doing for years, yet I had been conditioned to feel ashamed about owning my freedom and sexuality the way men have been doing it for decades. She needs to feel shame for being a slut and a fraudster. Dating multiple men was a thrill, but at the end of the day, it was admittedly exhausting. It increased the potential for chaos and it created a lot of drama that didn't need to be there. And of course, she makes herself out to be the victim of all the free benefits from dating. Although I did end up dating a second round of more men at once later on, I also eventually realized that dating one at a time was more suitable for my personal style. That doesn't mean I would never do it again. It was an important part of my journey and crucial to my self-discovery. Let's face it, if you're not exploring new things in your early 20s, you're not living. And that's why men would be fools to commit to women over 25 in the West. So when women complain that men only like young 20-year-olds, there's a reason. Because chances are, those young 20-year-olds or 18 or 19-year-olds mathematically have a less chance of being ran through. That being said, dating multiple men at once did teach me a lot about the double standards that women face in our society and about the ways in which modern romance could stand to evolve, especially in the ways in which the dating world treats women and what it expects of them. These are the same women who wonder where have all the good guys gone after they fucked over so many men in their 20s. The good guys have found a good woman or have become players or just quit because they found out the hard way. Modern women are for the fun only, if that. Until next time, MGTOW and Passport Bro on. As always, I wish you tremendous success. Now it's your turn. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember that if you leave the best comment, you'll get $5. Thank you so much for watching. If you found value in this video, hit the like and subscribe buttons, ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on future uploads, drop a comment, and share it. See you in the next video. Till next time.